Welcome back to Good Morning Football. We'll delve inside the NFL Network newsroom. Well, the Jets have more points from their defense and special teams than their offense and kicking game this season. But wait, there's a more sobering stat here. Gang Green can become the first team to have fewer than 500 passing yards through the first 4 games of a season since the 2009 Raiders. This is a long way of saying, essentially, the Jets need a spark, and that spark might be coming in the form of this man, Jets quarterback Sam Darnold. Darnold practicing Wednesday for the first time since being diagnosed with mono. He hasn't been cleared for contact yet, but there's a chance that could happen on Friday when the QB has his next medical exam. Head coach Adam Gase did not say who his starting quarterback will be Sunday against the Eagles. Well, as Darnold works his way back to the field, Bengals wide receiver John Ross will be moving to injured reserve with a shoulder injury suffered in Monday night's loss to the Steelers. NFL Network Insider Ian Rappaport reports that no surgery is scheduled. Ross is a candidate to return later this season. Ross leads Cincy in receiving yards and touchdowns. The NFL announcing Wednesday that reigning champs, the market leader in youth sports experiences, will oversee NFL flag leagues and tournaments, starting with the NFL Flag Championships in January 2020. Special emphasis will be on supporting local leagues and growing the number of participants, especially girls. The NFL is mourning the loss of one of their own. Cardinals owner Bill Bidwill passing away on Wednesday. Bidwill was 88. According to the team, he was surrounded by family members, including his son Michael, the Cardinals team president. Michael saying he would remember his dad as a man devoted to 3 central pillars: faith, love for his family, and his lifelong passion for the Cardinals and the sport of football. The Bidwill family bought the team when Bill was 1 year old. Now, condolences pouring in from around the league. Wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald saying Bidwill, quote, paved the way for so many by being on the forefront of giving minorities the opportunity to thrive as coaches and executives in the NFL. So his impact being felt throughout the league and throughout the show. Nate, we will be showing reaction, much more reaction from around the league.
You're right about that. We say it all the time, football is family, and we're all mourning the loss of Bidwill. But speaking of family, we have one of those family members joining us right now, one of the greatest defensive players in Cardinals history. He played 160 consecutive games with Arizona. He was named to 6 straight Pro Bowls. Please welcome back to the show, Pro Football Hall of Famer, one of the best to ever do it, and my brother Aeneas Williams. Aeneas, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. Good morning football, Nate. So glad to be on with you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for coming on. Now, we're here to celebrate the life of Cardinals owner Bill Bidwill. His passing, it caught us all off guard at 88. And the Cardinals, they won the NFC Championship in 2008. Confetti was falling down. You were the one that presented the George Halas Trophy to Bill Bidwill. What was that moment like when you were able to hand over that trophy to the owner who drafted you?
Well, it's ironic. 10 years prior to that, in 1998, actually, to be able to see the smile on his face when we were able to upset Dallas in the divisional round of the playoffs, that was amazing. He moved the team and being a part of the team, and then now in 2008, 10 years later, to hand him the trophy and to see Larry Fitzgerald and that team head to the Super Bowl, it was outstanding, and it was something that Mr. Bidwill deserved.
Aeneas, thanks for joining the show with us this morning. We are sorry for your loss. Let's celebrate some of his accomplishments and also what I hear was a very competitive drive. Under Mr. Bidwill's ownership, the Cardinals won 5 division titles. They went to the Super Bowl in the 2008 season. Mr. Bidwill was very much driven to bringing a winner to Arizona, wasn't he?
No doubt about it. One of the most unique things about him, even while the team was in St. Louis, I still living here in St. Louis, hear about how philanthropic Mr. Bidwill was. And the unique thing about his being philanthropic, he didn't want a whole lot of people to actually know. So there's so much work that's been done in Phoenix as well in St. Louis that Mr. Bidwill wasn't out tooting his own horn, but there are so many people's lives that have been touched and changed by his legacy and his generosity, and seeing Michael continuing on as the current steward of the organization. I know he's proud, and while in heaven, he's excited about the organization as it's in good hands, and to see the family move on and carry on his legacy is pretty exciting.
It is, Aeneas, and you played 10 seasons with Arizona. In your final year with the Cardinals, you returned a fumble over 100 yards for a score. Tell us about that play and also what Mr. Bidwill did the following day in appreciation of this incredible moment.
Well, we're playing the Washington Redskins, and we were probably, I'm almost sure we were underdogs, and all of a sudden the ball is fumbled on the 1 yard line. I pick it up in the end zone and take it to the near sideline and take it 104 yards and score. And the next thing you know, I'm told that Mr. Bidwill and Larry Wilson, his passion for football, I think it was Jack Tatum who held the record at that time, and Mr. Bidwill wanted to go out and verify how deep in the end zone that I actually had gotten to make sure that I got the proper credit for the amount of yards of the 104-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown. And that just says a lot when an owner goes out and says, hey, give me a measuring stick. I want to make sure Aeneas gets all the accolades that he deserves for this 104-yard interception return.
Aeneas, the Bidwill family got involved in the NFL in 1932. Bill obviously leaves his legacy behind. Jake Plummer said he is a walking football historian. So he wasn't a big media guy. What do we know about Bill Bidwill and his love for football and football history, especially with all the years and generations of the family has had football in the blood?
Well, the other part that Jake probably didn't mention, and all the guys know that's been around him, he usually was always ready and loaded with some type of joke or some type of humor. And that was the initial way that you got to know him. And then to understand that quiet demeanor, but make no mistake about it, the passion for the game and the difficulty and the challenge that goes with moving a team from a city into Phoenix, where the organization is now thriving, and to see that great stadium. But he always knew the history of the game, and to be able to, I think I'm told, he actually ran the team, owned the team for 35 years, which is my jersey number. So that's pretty significant as well.
Aeneas, you were drafted by Bidwill, and you played your majority of your Hall of Fame career with the Cardinals. We know that he's in heaven watching down from that big football stadium in the sky. So I'll give you this moment. If you could say anything to him, what would you say?
I would say, and I've talked with Michael, I was just there this weekend, Michael, who's currently the current steward and leader of the organization. Usually parents, even if they're going through sicknesses, usually they refuse to transition unless they know that their legacy is in good hands. And so a shout out to Michael, Nicole, Timothy, Patrick, as well as Bill Jr. And I know Dad and Mom Nancy also, they're in heaven, but they know the baton has been handed off and it's in safe hands. So Tracy and I sending out condolences. We're thankful and grateful to have played for the organization. And even though we only had one winning season and we got a chance to go to the playoffs, we enjoyed our time with the organization and certainly the Phoenix community.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it, Aeneas. You're one of the best to ever do it, and also one of the greatest men off the field. Thank you for sharing your time with us.
Thank you, guys. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
We'll continue to share the messages, the condolences, the memories of Bill Bidwill all morning long. More Good Morning Football on the way. We are hours away from a Thursday night matchup in the NFC West.
Okay.
That's right. Russell says that this dude is the toughest guy he's ever faced.